whether or not the council wants to do it.
Okay, but now in the meantime, all right. Alcantra's here, we can start. Okay, we will call this meeting, the special city council meeting, to order at 5:10 on June 25th, 2024. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Alcantara.
Here.
Councilmember Moline.
Here.
Mayor Carrington.
Here.
Councilmember Tudor.
Here.
Councilmember Best.
Here.
Councilmember Cooper.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Anzalotti.
Here.
All
All
here.
right. And Kimberly, could I ask you to lead us in the pledge? All right. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Next is approval of the agenda. What's the wishes of the council?
Move to approve.
Second.
All right, is there any amendments, changes, or is there any objection to accepting this agenda as presented? Hearing none, we'll declare it unanimous. Audience participation. Anyone in the audience? Oh, we do have one chance like this. Yeah, to be. Please remember to please start with your name, and we'll give you 3 minutes, and that will include the batteries. No.
Oops, sorry, thank you, Josh.
That's why Josh gets to sit at the end.
Strategic placement.
Well, he's quick and also understands how to put it
Thank you.
together.
My name is Mike Malevsky, and hello,
There you
hello, that's better, okay. My name is Mike Malevsky, and I live here in Palmer, and it appears that I am the representative of the entire community that would speak tonight. And so I felt it was my duty to come forward. We may be small in number, but we were very powerful in our ability to influence the council. So I know that there are 2 meetings tonight. This first one is an opportunity to review the council applicants, the applicants for the council to review the city manager position. It's a mighty task you set before yourselves. And I know you're up to it, and I think that looking back over the years that there have been various city managers that have come to Palmer, they sometimes have lasted for a few years. Sometimes they have been here for 1 year. And I'm not sure that each time when the council was looking at that person, they could have predicted or put into an envelope the prediction for how long that manager was going to last. I'm not suggesting you do that necessarily and put money down on who's going to whatever, but I'm just saying it is a very difficult thing to do. And I, for one, as a representative of the people of Palmer, appreciate the task you set before you. So thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll probably let you speak later anyway. So. We'll close audience participation. Committee of the Whole. We have a motion to go into Committee of the Whole.
So move.
Second.
All right. Madam Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Mayor Carrington.
Yes.
Councilmember Moline.
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anzalotti.
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper.
Yes.
Councilmember Best.
Yes.
Councilmember Alcantara.
Yes.
Councilmember Tudor.
Yes.
Unanimous?
All right. Unanimous. So we're in the Committee of the Whole. Do I have a gavel for that? I don't know. City manager recruitment. So we've received 11 applicants. We actually have Kimberly here because she's we're her side job now, I guess. She hasn't completely left us. She's been generous in helping out as she can squeeze it in. Do we want to hear from her? How do we want to proceed here, guys? Gals. Yes. Yes, ma'am.
So just for reference, on the summary sheet that you received with each of the candidates, there was an error. There's a candidate by the name of Mr. Jelly, and he does have an associate's degree, I believe, in fire technology. And we had listed his highest degree as high school. So if you would please make that note on your form.
Okay. All right. Do we have any questions for Kimberly at this point, or? Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
Thank you.
Councilwoman Moline.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. What is our legal obligation here as a council for, do we have to re-interview? Do we have to interview? I mean, what's our legal obligation here as these have been presented to us?
So this is a brand new poll that we've pulled for applicants. So my recommendation to you would be make your selections and re-interview any candidates that you may have interviewed before that you wish to consider again, as well as any additional candidates. Just to make sure everybody's on the same playing field. Maybe, perhaps, for example, somebody you interviewed before didn't interview that well, but now they're more comfortable with the process, or they've gained some additional skills and experience, so that allows them to present.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
Just a follow-up. So thank you for that. I guess, thank you. Maybe, Mr. Mayor, I can ask the city attorney, what is our legal obligation? Would you have that by chance?
I'm not sure specifically, but I would agree with HR. Like, because this was revoked and reposted, this has to be treated as a completely new process. So clean slate all around, everybody equals the same. Your calculations will be the same. Interviewing process will be the same. Determinations will be the same. Like that you would for a brand new one. So not that you have to, you're not required to make them all the same.
I'm just trying to make sure that all of our bases, you get where I'm going with that. Okay, thank you, thank you.
Any more follow-up?
No.
Okay. Councilman Alcantara.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Not really so much for Kimberly, but just sort of a way to winnow the field down a little bit. It would appear to me that 2 candidates didn't submit a complete application packet, so they could be quickly eliminated, I would believe. And what you guys did last time, not that we have to do it the same this time, is that you eliminated candidates that did not have previous city manager experience. So I look at the 11, you can take 2 out of the field immediately for not submitting a completed packet, and 3 more for not having previous city manager experience. Probably not ironically, the 2 that didn't complete the application packet were also 2 that did not have previous city manager experience. So I think there's a quick way to winnow this field down to 6. I did not meet Mr. Zimmerman or Ms. Hickle last time around, so I have no issues with re-interviewing them. I mean, it's seems to be an appropriate thing to do, but I think that's a fairly expedited way to get us down to 6 anyway.
So do we want to have everybody suggest a couple names and see if we come up with
Yeah,
a consensus? Okay.
sure. Oh,
Go ahead.
No,
Oh,
go ahead. Go ahead.
okay, thank you.
okay.
Thank
Go
you,
ahead,
Mr.
Councilwoman Moline.
Thank you. Again, thank you. I would like to recommend narrowing it down even more. And I'm just going to use your last names, as I don't mean to be disrespectful, just out of the sake of just being organized here with the list. Hickel and Zimmerman. Robertson, and then and that's just my suggestions.
Okay. Councilman Cooper.
Thank you, Mayor. And I agree, except I would add another one as of Solkowski. I believe that gentleman had 19 years experience as city manager.
Solkowski.
Solkowski. Yeah.
Solkowski.
Yeah, so I would be down to 4.
To 4.
Okay. Is there any additions or comments from other council members?
Sorry, I lost my notes. I'm going back to the list and I had another name on there.
Just gonna ask HR something really quick. So not to be the difficult one, but procedurally, as we par it down, it does need to be, instead of an individual specific, for business justification reasons. So the first suggestion was for business reasons, interviewing everyone that had that didn't complete, eliminating those that didn't complete their packet. So that's a business justification. Then the second paring down was all those that had previous city manager experience. So then to par it down even further, instead of choosing individuals, it needs to have a business justification based upon their education or their experience or some sort of other parameters.
Mayor, I'd like to respond to that.
Okay, Councilman Cooper?
I don't see the legality in that. It seems to me that what we can do is you look at someone and it's not a gut feel, but as you go through the packet, you say that there are a number of people that are more qualified than others, and I'm not sure you necessarily need to have a quote reason, other than the fact that if the council agrees that there's, say, and I'll use the number four people that they're willing to identify as the top 4 candidates, I'm not sure that we have to, there's actually a legal reason why we have to say that we have to interview more.
Mr. Mayor.
Councilwoman Moline.
Woman, thank you.
No, sorry.
I forgive you. Okay. If that's the case, and thank you, because we had already made our decision. We had a clear and concrete decision that was made because we believed in that individual. What I'm asking, and thank you, Madam Attorney, just to be clear, I feel as though, or I think that it would be appropriate, and for the sake of expediency, that we had made our choice. So would it not be appropriate to just have our choice come before us and then the decision is made, or are we required? And that's why I'm asking, are we required by law, is there some kind of law, hiring practice law, that states what our duties are?
Well, this is a brand new set of individuals. Just because there was previous individuals that were considered, this is an entirely new process. So it has to be followed in the exact same process. Like we have a different council member involved, we have different applicants involved, so we can't jump. And that's to protect the public process so that the public is aware of every stage of paring down. And that's also why I appreciate Councilmember Cooper's input. And you're welcome to dismiss my advice, but I would strongly suggest the city manager is one of the most powerful positions in the city of Palmer. I would argue the most powerful position. So doing it step by step and making it as public as possible would be preferred. And I, as your attorney, I would strongly advise having business justifications for each. And if that is, the ones that had more than 10 years city manager experience, or if there's something that you can do with a group, that'd be great. Or you just interview one more individual if that was someone that if you wanted all city manager experience. But just randomly going with gut is very hard to defend in court sometimes.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Tudor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I just wanted to add someone to the list of, to go off of what Councilwoman Molina had said. I would mispronounce his name. Sokoski? Samuel?
That's the one.
Yeah, that's.
Oh, he didn't say that. Okay, I missed that. I'm sorry. Okay.
He was busy looking through his notes.
Yeah, I was trying to find my thing. Okay,
Yeah.
sorry about that.
Councilman Alcantara.
Did you want to comment first, Mr. Mayor? Or
I was just going to say, if we went with those with city manager experience and a master's degree, it would get it down to, I believe, 5.
For for business justification reasons.
Right, for business justification reasons.
That does eliminate Mr. Sosnowski, though, because he has a BBA.
Yeah, he has a BBA.
What,
But if you
what is a
said-
BBA?
So business administration.
Business administration, okay.
But if you had a master's and or a certain amount of years of service, you know, or something to play with.
We didn't go with that this time.
No.
but-
So go ahead, Councilman Alcantara.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I don't want to belabor things and make it more difficult than I just sent the clerk the fact that I'm at least 4 days in July. I'm not going to be here. Oh, it's a Friday through a Monday. But I actually think, especially with the add-on, that he at least has an associate's degree. I like adding Solkowski, and a new person that wasn't an applicant last time, I think, is the man with the last name Jelly, or however you say it. And so I would like to add him to the mix just based on his experience and a lot of incident command experience and a lot of manager type experience as well. So that would make a five person field, and there'd be at least two new applicants in that 5-person field. I think the other 3 you already interviewed before, if I'm not mistaken. Pickles, Zimmerman, and Robertson. I think you already interviewed. If I'm not
It's
mistaken.
everybody.
So I'd like to add 2 new blood to the mix. The one that was previously mentioned, and then Mr. Jelly, if possible.
And they also interviewed Ms. Stinnett as well.
Right, there was 4 that we interviewed. Councilman Cooper.
Thank you. Just to add on to that, I guess, going with what the attorney says, if we're at 5, what we're doing is if we add people who've had previous city manager experience, we just move it up to 6. So
Right.
I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, actually I do. I think that we should, and this is just my opinion, I think that it should be based off of previous city manager experience. Probably include the leadership experience, and then, of course, their highest education. That's what I think the order should be in.
No, I'm confused on my matrix. So.
Master,
Well, it's why there is a really good matrix there,
Master.
actually.
and then
So basically, you're saying yeses on all 3 columns there.
Yeah, so eliminate,
associates.
so it would end up eliminating Sokolsky based off of just a BBA rather than an MBA.
and Jelly.
And yeah, and Telly,
So if I understand,
because of an, correct, right, so you'd have to have all 3 of those.
so if I can just articulate, so what you're proposing, Councilwoman, is Zimmerman, Hickel, Robertson, and Stinnett based on master's degrees.
Zimmerman, Robertson, and Hickel, and correct. Yeah.
So there sounds like there's 2 proposals. One, if I just may, is you're categorizing things. One council member, a couple council members have suggested that having 6, paring it down to city manager experience, and then there's also paring it down to 4 based on the master's degree.
And, yeah, correct. Well, and a completed application, I think
Right,
goes without
right.
saying, but most of them
Right,
do that,
yeah.
so.
Anyone that hasn't spoken that wants to speak? No offense to Mr. Alcantara, Mr. Cooper. Okay, Councilman Cooper.
Thank you. I understand where Councilwoman Aline is coming from, but when I look at experience and I look at a gentleman who's had close to 19 or so years of experience, I don't want to discount that just by the fact that he has a bachelor's degree. I'm not sure. A master's degree does give you something, a little bit more, but experience in the world really should play a big part, I think, in this decision. You could have been a city manager for a year with a doctor's degree, and does that mean that you should be qualified to be city manager of Palmer? I don't think so. But if you have a bachelor's, and you had 19 years of experience in city management, I think that should require a definite look at.
Councilman Alcantara.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Maybe a question for Kimberly as well, but I agree with the comments of Councilmember Cooper in the sense that what I remember and what I believe is that the job announcement had nothing in there that talked about masters even preferred, let alone a master's required. And so if we're trying to cast a wider net and trying to get people with real life experience, I think interviewing 2 more people who have real life experience is better than just saying, hey, we're going to eliminate people for not having something that we didn't require in a job announcement, to my knowledge, and we didn't even, not only did we not require it, we didn't even say, hey, a master's is preferred. We just, so that's where I would appreciate if we do the 6 candidates and realize it's going to take us a little more time. And I realize 3 or maybe even 4 of them will be repetitive, but I think taking a little bit more time and doing it right is worth the time.
And if I may remind council, we did change the job description to eliminate the requirement for a degree, and we did rephrase it to say, although a degree may be preferred, experience gained through various avenues was also desirable.
Okay. Councilwoman Malik.
Yeah, actually, I just figured we were in open conversation here, so I left
Go ahead.
my thing on. But since you brought it up, but that was the first round. The second round, we said we were going out on depends on experience, correct?
No,
I
the job
just wanna be
description
clear.
remained the same.
Okay, I just want to be clear as to what we had decided, because there seemed to be kind of some last minute confusion with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was my understanding that we reposted it due to the clerical error with regards to the salary and the potential error that occurred during the conversation.
Okay.
But other than that, we duplicated it exactly.
Okay, thank you. So, because we're making decisions tonight and we're being asked to come up with a business justification, that's kind of a different criteria based off of what, good gosh, kids. Is it, this again goes back to that legal question that I was asking. What are our guardrails of what we have to do versus what we're just advised to do?
So with regards to law, there's nothing with regards to who you have to interview. It's more of the perspective of what can you defend. So,
Right, so no employment practices kind of thing in the hiring
No.
process that exists. Okay,
no,
thank
you just want to be able to defend whatever decision you make.
Yeah.
So making sure that we're not potentially charged with a claim of discrimination based on age or gender or any other
Right.
status.
Right, thank you.
You're welcome, ma'am.
What if we were to say the 3 yeses and then bachelors are higher? That would get it down to 5. Because I and I'm not sure degree is that important, but when we have this many candidates with bachelors and masters and experience, I guess that would be my suggestion.
I mean, if they're married to it, I'm not gonna sit and, try to uphold the process, but, yeah.
Councilman Cook?
Thank you. Just to clarify, didn't you say the application that went out didn't require a degree is preferred potentially, but experience counts?
What I recall, and I'd have to pull it up to read it verbatim, paraphrasing, it said something to the effect of, while this type of experience may be gained through a bachelor's degree, we recognize that not all experience is achieved through school. Therefore, we will consider equivalent experience in relative fields.
Councilman
Councilman
Tudor.
I would just support what he said. I think that's a good approach, is to allow, just require bachelor's degrees or above with experience.
Councilwoman Malene?
Sorry, I was just doing some quick math here, I apologize.
We haven't even gotten to the
Okay.
hard part.
So what we're saying is that actually it looks like Sokolsky has 11 years, sorry. Okay. Sorry, I'm just thinking out loud,
Okay.
feeling stuff in my mind. So what was the question? So you're asking the council if they want to go with a bachelor's?
I was suggesting the yeses on
Or
the three
to
columns
bachelor?
and then a bachelor's or master's.
Mhm.
Because I don't see doctorate in there, but.
You don't see a doctor, thank God.
Yeah. And it would take it down to 5 out of the 11, which is just under half, which is,
Well, okay.
which would be, do we want to go through and name them again?
I'm sorry, wouldn't it be 6?
One says associate's degree.
So,
We
well,
were saying yeses on all the 3 columns,
Yes.
so.
And then bachelor's or
with
higher.
a bachelor's degree, yeah, with a minimum of bachelor's degree.
So
So,
there's like 6 with previous city manager experience.
yes, with
But one of
leadership
But
experience.
remember that Jelly has, oh, he has an associate's.
Associate's
Okay, I'm
degree,
sorry, I thought
right.
it was a bachelor's.
Yeah.
So, if I can, I'm
Go
sorry, I'm
ahead.
just trying to think here. So what we're saying is that the matrix, we should stick to the matrix, but our threshold should be, highest education should be a BBA, correct?
Yeah, a bachelor's or whatever,
Okay,
yeah.
got it. And so anybody that has not submitted an application or does not have leadership experience or previous manager experience, we're eliminating, is that correct?
May I clarify something?
Right. I would say put it in the positive that they have yeses on all 3 columns,
Yeah,
but
yeah. Well,
So-
thank you.
You're not clarifying leadership experience, so you're clarifying, so that if I can understand, what you're articulating is that an immediate elimination of those who didn't complete the packet, that
Right.
would be in round 1, and then narrowing it down to all those who have previous city manager experience, not leadership experience, because Mr. Jelly has 38 years, or 28 years of executive experience, but he only has an associate's.
And he was.
Right.
So previous city manager experience, and then narrowing that down to a BBA or higher.
Okay, but here was my thinking in this, is that you put the matrix out there for a reason, okay? If they do need to have previous leadership experience. So I say that we go with all 3 of those pillars
Right.
with the threshold on the education. Is there
Right.
any objection to that?
That's,
Okay.
I think that's what we're all saying,
yeah,
actually.
yeah, that still limits down to the 5.
Correct,
Yeah,
right.
right,
So,
right. Yeah, so they check the box on all
yeah.
3 of them.
So
and
we're in agreement then, okay?
Okay, Councilman Alcantra.
Yeah,
I'm sensing
yeah,
dissent.
Mr. Mayor, I appreciate one more crack at it, and I know I'm gonna lose the argument, but let me just say this about Mr. Jelly, who I've never met, don't even know if I'm saying his name correctly. Served as city manager and fire chief of a small northern New York City with a population of 10,000. Led, managed, and supervised a workforce of 75 to 100 with a total budget of 30 million, including general funds, special funds, and capital. Provided oversights to city departments consisting of fire, police, clerk, planning, public works, legal, and code enforcement. If this guy doesn't sound like a city manager, I don't know who does. And he's got city manager experience. He does not have a bachelor's degree. It sounds like you guys have made that cut again, even though we put it out there that you didn't have to have it. And I'm gonna, be outvoted, but I think Mr. Jelly should be added. And if you wanna look, it's at the top of page 39.
Deputy Mayor,
Thank you, Mr.
you
Mayor.
haven't said anything yet.
A little bit. I have no problem adding Mr. Jelly to the lineup. I think I wouldn't mind saying an associate's degree or higher, because I did read through the packet and was impressed with his experience as well. And I don't have an issue with someone not having a degree. I think in this case, what is trying to be done is kind of expedite the process by having one less person to interview. But I also realize that this is a whole new process. We have to discount the last process we went through, unfortunately, but also, I view this as an opportunity to maybe interview some new folks. So those are my thoughts.
Councilman Cooper?
Thank you.
So it's
Just to
six.
kind of add to that, granted, he was a city manager and fire chief, but it was for 2 years. And so to me, that kind of makes a little bit of a difference as well. You know, it's not like some of these other folks who've had 20, 30 years of experience in city manager. You know, he's chief executive officer of a small city, 10,000, but from July 2020 to November 2022. So I think we need to look at that as well. But
Councilwoman Moline?
Sorry, that's just on permanently.
Oh, you don't have a choice, okay.
Yeah, I think
Well,
that,
if you don't wanna
well,
talk, you don't have to.
well, no, I'll go ahead. I mean, because I'm gonna take advantage of it. I mean, really, if it's one more person to interview, what's one more? I mean, if we want to do that just to feel like we've covered all of our bases, because that's what I'm interested in. I'm interested in the process and doing the right thing here for these applicants. The justification sounds like we've got ourselves covered, but if you really feel like we need to interview this additional candidate, one more person is not going to put a nook in my cranny. So it's up to you, up to the council.
no, six
So
for me is
go
fine.
with yeses on all three categories in the matrix, and that makes it 6.
Yes.
Yeah.
If I may interrupt, I don't
Sure.
think you can go wrong by interviewing another candidate. Yes, I understand it's additional time, but you don't know what gem that person might be.
Absolutely.
So I say if they meet the criteria for what you're looking for, take the extra 45 minutes and give them a chance,
Yeah,
because you may be
25 minutes.
surprised.
I know, so you cut
I'm
those in half.
stuck.
You said 25 to 45, but anyway. Okay, are we ready to come out of committee of the whole and make a motion that we can understand? Come on in.
Yes.
We're doing our pre-meeting meeting or our special meeting.
Yep, I think we're
Okay.
ready. Yep.
So we'll come out of committee of the whole. Since your mic is on, do you want to make the motion?
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna try to. Okay, thank you. So I'm gonna go ahead and. Okay, so Mr. Mayor, I would like to make a motion to, based off the business justification, we would like to interview.
I was just going through. how to
Oh,
interview
okay. So we're gonna eliminate
Uncompleted application.
uncompleted for elimination of uncompleted applications. Then we must have executive leadership experience, previous city council member experience, or city manager experience, education degree, and we're willing to go with associate's degree. So based off of the matrix, so if we want to go with the 6,
Which that
are we allowed
equals-
to say their names? Okay,
Sure.
so that would be Sokolsky, Zimmerman, Hickel, Robertson, and Jelly. Hope that we're saying it appropriately. And Stinnett.
Instant. Okay.
Second.
Stinnett.
So there's any other,
We need a
that
second.
was, I'll answer a second. Okay, so Madam Clerk, you can call the roll, please.
Councilmember Tudor,
Yes.
Councilmember Alcantara,
Yes.
Councilmember Best,
Yes.
Councilmember Cooper,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Anzalotti,
Yes.
Councilmember Moline,
Yes.
Mayor Carrington.
Yes.
Yes.
And I was gonna suggest something, with the Matsu College, replacement of Tallis, when they were interviewing finalists, the committee narrowed it down to some finalists, and then they had a public interview where the public was allowed to come and hear a 5-minute intro from each candidate, ask questions, and then they could submit comments to the committee for, what they thought of them. And then it was, it's still up to the council, but it would be just a way to get a little more input.
Yeah.
But that would be my suggestion. And part of my logic was that we could maybe even do that like on July 11th 2 days after we have a council meeting, but we wouldn't have to be here for that. Because it'd be a public meeting, it wouldn't be a council meeting. We'd probably have our new HR person do it, but, you know. But
Yeah, I don't want to subject anybody to any kind of, I don't know, whatever.
that's just my
What I
suggestion.
want to do is beat these people up.
No comments, huh? Okay.
Can I ask more questions? So it
Sure.
would be that the interviewees would be here and they're essentially be allowed to ask a certain amount of questions by the public? Am I
Right.
getting that right?
I'm assuming it would probably be mostly Zoom. We could even just say, this one's for Zoom
Would-
only.
Well, I mean, I would imagine we'd probably have to pre-screen the questions, I imagine.
I mean, I think we'd put a time limit on it and have sign up, but I don't, you know.
I mean, I like the idea, I'm just worried about that from the
Okay.
perspective of the interview.
Councilman Cooper, I think you were next.
Thank you, Mayor. I don't have a problem with an open meeting. I don't have a problem with us doing interviews. I have a problem with necessarily the public asking questions of the interviewees. They could come after they hear the interview, they could come back to the council with questions to the mayor, and then we could discuss those questions and see if we wanted to push them further forward. But I think the process is for the council to interview the folks and have the public. It's an open meeting. The public can listen to the testimony, and just like any meeting, they can come and issue comments back to the council anytime they want.
Okay. Councilman Best.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I believe in what I think is your intention to be more of a open public process where the public can be engaged in it. I think it's riddled with opportunities for things to go
Challenges.
sideways. Because if, let's say you get an individual that happens to be on the interviewee group and they are maybe somebody from local area versus everybody else who might be out of state, and maybe you got some folks that can come in and you have little zinger questions and all that kind of stuff. And I think it would just really open us up for uncontrolled chaos of the interview process. I agree with everybody else that the public's opinion on the things, but we are the elected officials that they can work through. And if they have questions that they'd like to have us suggest to the rest of the body to then put out there, that's one thing. So I think the process is there already for us to have the information from the public and then put it out there.
Okay. So we can, well, no, we should schedule try to interview. So I believe, well, I hate to do, we have the 9th, but I don't know if everyone could make the 11th. The next week, I think, is what, the 17th and 18th open?
Yes.
For council members? July 17, I'm gonna say and 18,
Right.
just, I don't know. Mr. Cooper's checking his calendar. Councilwoman Malene is checking.
Thursdays, man, I just,
Well, we can shoot for was it 17th is a Wednesday?
17th is, I don't know, I don't want it to be, you know, about
Okay.
Thursdays like that.
No? So looking at July 17th apparently. Does that work for everyone?
You abandoned July 11th?
Well, I don't know. Did you guys want to try it? She didn't like Thursdays, so.
Thursdays are just, yeah, I'm out on Thursdays, but 11th.
Are you gone on
is
17th?
Thursday. Sorry.
No. Okay, so everyone can be here on the 17th? Okay, so we will schedule a special meeting.
Well, the 11th is far ahead, that we have to, oh, you want me there?
Okay. Okay. So we'll put that down, I'm not sure about the time, I mean, not sooner than 5, right? 5:10? 5:15, just to be generous, okay. All right. So, what's that? Oh, yeah. We are going to adjourn the meeting. Okay. And we have 10 minutes. Yeah.